All right, guys, in this video, we're going to be talking about women, specifically in New York City, and we're also going to hear from a matchmaker that also spent several years in New York City trying to match up women. You're going to learn very, very quickly what the problem is with women, maybe specifically in that city, but in general, and why they're getting horrible results in their life. Let me grab this first video and play it for you, and then we'll get to the matchmaker.
I believe I've cracked the case into why it's so hard dating in New York City, and it's actually very simple. It boils down to one simple thing that actually runs the whole entire world, and it's money, okay? Living in New York is expensive as is. As one human being paying for herself to live in New York City, it's so expensive. Rent is like $3,500 for a 600 square foot apartment. Then you got groceries, phone bills, utilities, streaming services, coffees, pizza for lunch, night on the town with your girlfriends. It's so expensive to live in New York City. Now imagine being a man who has to pay for the dates. And if you're the type of girl who does splitsies, good for you. I'm just saying, as a man who's paying $400+ a week to take a girl on a nice date, at the end of the month, my man's is checking his bank statement going, I can't do this anymore. I cannot keep paying for this lifestyle, for this. I can't do this anymore. My man's is down bad. Okay, so it's not that you're ugly. It's not that you're unattractive. It's not that you're not smart enough. It's not that you're anything. You're amazing. You're worthy. You are outstanding, impeccable, successful, creative, all these amazing things. It's simply that he cannot afford you. And that's okay. You might have to look in another age range, like a higher age range, if you want someone who's going to take you out on these great dates, or maybe you want to just keep doing you and make money for yourself and take yourself on those dates. I don't know, but it's very simple. He can't afford you, babe, and that's okay. It's not about you. It's just that living in New York is very hard, and he decided after 4 dates that he didn't want to pay for it anymore. He ghosted you. He can't afford you. He doesn't want to see you this week. He can't afford you. Okay? He's being all weird and not texting you like he used to. He can't afford you. It's that simple, okay? Peace and love.
All right, well, long story short with that one, men are broke. You need to spend $400 a month. She fluffs herself up, and any girls watching it telling them that they're amazing, strong, and all that sort of stuff. I got more on it, but let's have a listen to this matchmaker that was a professional matchmaker in New York City for 5 years, and then we'll get to the commentary.
I was a professional matchmaker for more than 5 years in New York City, and I met with thousands of singles. And I'll tell you, the difference between the people that ended up in happy, healthy relationships versus the one that stayed single were the people that were able to distinguish what is a long-term value and what is a superficial garbage nonsense factor that you don't actually need in order to be happy. For example, where they went to school. It doesn't matter. You can't take their diploma to bed and have it hold you after a long day. How much hair is on their head. It truly doesn't make a freaking difference because it's all going to fall out eventually. How tall they are has no meaning or dictation of how much they can protect you and be there for you. Other things like status and money are fleeting and can always go. So what should you be looking for? A shared value system. Do you see the world in the same way? Mutual respect, healthy communication, and a shared vision for your future. Paired with that, with connection and chemistry, and you have a recipe for long term.
So this is actually pretty common. A lot of women that use matchmaking services fire their matchmaker. They often complain that matchmakers aren't delivering on the results that they were expecting. They expect to go pay a serious amount of money and then be served on a silver platter. Tall, handsome, competent, resourceful Harvard grads with a full head of hair that are ready to settle down and have a whole bunch of babies and pay for the whole thing and look past her entire promiscuous past of partying and her strong and high demands of $400 dates. That is a serious problem. A lot of men are mostly invisible to women, and a lot of women are entitled and bratty and pretty much delusional, if we can put it that way. You notice in the video when she was talking initially that she was basically like, you know, she kind of started out with, it's been really difficult for these guys, but at the same time, if they're not paying for these dates or willing to spend $400 plus for these dates, they're brokies, they can't afford you, you're strong, you're beautiful, you know, you deserve better, so don't waste your time. Maybe date a little bit older, hold off for the one sort of thing. And that's really not working out for a lot of women because they find themselves in a situation where they're single, they don't have a guy, they find themselves in a position where they're basically just being used for sexual intimacy by the guys that they want to be with that aren't willing to commit to them. So dating older isn't going to really solve a lot of that for them. complaining that guys can't afford them, as if there should be a price tag on dating them. I've said this before, and there's a story about the Skittles man on the Chateau Heartiste website. You guys can go Google just Skittles man Chateau Heartiste blog, and you can read it. The underlying theme, the underlying story is the more that a woman likes a guy, the lower the cost for you, or maybe the greater the discount, if you can put it that way. Dr. Ryan Taraban talks about this in his book, The Value of Others. You should check it out. The bottom line there is that women won't make you jump through hoops if they really like you. Again, ask these women what hoops they made men jump through that they absolutely adored, that they thought were tall and handsome and sexy and all those sorts of things. They usually don't make them jump through hoops. You have to spend $400 to date me. If you're not taking me to whatever fancy restaurant so I can take my Instagram pictures to show everybody the stories about the cool dinner that I had, which, by the way, guys, you often get left out of, or she forgets to mention that there's a guy paying for those dates. There's an entire world of women right now on dating apps using photographs that they had taken that other men had taken them on dates, or maybe while they were on vacation in Santorini, while the volcanoes in the background and the white and blue roof buildings are sort of sitting around looking all pretty and beautiful with the bougainvillea vines climbing up the wall as she sits there holding a glass of wine in front of a plate of food that he probably paid for the trip for and the food. So don't think for a minute that you have to spend money on women to get them to like you, because at the end of the day, the Skittles man proved that women that absolutely adore a man don't really care about pricing. And the more that they actually like you, the greater the discount you're going to find at the checkout. So with that being said, that answers the question of why there's so many women that are single. It also answers the question as to why that's really not going to change anytime soon, because of the entitlement and the delusion that they deal with. You also got some feedback from the Matchmaker, who also corroborated everything that I essentially said, that these women's standards are far too high. And it's like, well, he has to be Harvard educated, and he has to have a full head of hair, and he has to be at least this tall. And it's like, these women don't understand that, like, even if you use height as a guideline, I believe it's something less than 14 or 15% of the North American population is over 6 foot tall. And that's usually not the minimum requirement. A lot of women will say 6'2", and that's even lower. It's less than 10%. And then you want like 6'2" that's rich with a full head of hair, that's Harvard educated. You can see as you start sort of going through all of these qualifiers, they're actually disqualifiers, and there's probably less than 1% of the male population in that city that would actually meet her criteria. But the funny thing is, a lot of these women don't meet the criteria of the men that they want to be with. Like guys like that are spoiled for choice, that are competent, resourceful, rich, handsome, tall, full head of hair, blah, 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 Harvard educated, all that sort of stuff. If they're squared away and they're smart, they don't want anything to do with an unreasonable, demanding, promiscuous woman that's 35 years old that wants to settle down and have kids now because she's hired a matchmaker. So we have a massive disconnect between the sexes. I don't see that improving anytime soon, but it does get you to the point where now you understand the problem that a lot of men have, and now you understand why a lot of women are single and will continue to be single with their ladies and going out on their girls' nights with their sisterhood, drinking their wine and taking their photographs all together, growing old and alone with their cats and dogs as fur mommies. Guys, let me know what you think. What's your experience been? Drop a comment below, pin in the top one. There's a link to my school, which is $50 a month, which takes you far deeper down the rabbit hole in these concepts and helps answer a lot of questions and builds a great community. And my book. We'll see you guys later. Peace out.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.